Hello, everyone. My name is Bidatri Chowdhury, and I am the program consultant here at CAM. And I'm so happy to be here with you today. First of all, we would like to acknowledge our wonderful co presenters, which are organizations like us who serve and support diverse communities. For this program, we would like to thank Third Eye South Asian Film. Programs like CAMFest 2021 and CAM's other year round programs are made possible by our community of supporters like you who are all around the world. Help us bring compelling and diverse Asian American stories to light. Donate or join as a CAM member at CAM's secure website, caamedia.org. The film that we just watched, Iman Zawahry's Americanish, is eligible for our audience award. To vote, please click the link below the video player. Thank you so much, and we will be announcing the winners shortly after the festival. I'm so happy to have the filmmaker and a few members of the cast and crew here with us today. Iman Zawahry, who is the filmmaker and director of the film Americanish that you just watched. Iman, thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your story with us, and welcome.
Thank you so much, Vidatri, for having me. It's such an incredible honor to be at CAM, especially at closing night. I'm so excited to be here.
Thank you. And I know that, there are members of your cast and crew who are here joining us.
Yes.
So I would request you to introduce us.
All right. So, Paul, you want to get started?
Hey, I'm Paul Satachet, and I am one of the producers of this amazing film.
Nice.
Godfrey?
Hi, I'm Godfrey, and I'm one of the characters in the film, a love interest, in fact, of the film, and that's about it, right?
All right, Jesse?
Hi, my name is Jessie Rojas, and I am the editor of the film.
Nice.
Roy?
Hi, I'm Roy Wall. I'm one of the producers of the film.
Selena?
Hi, I'm Selena, and I play Maryam in the film.
Nice. Chloe?
I am Chloe, and I am the director of photography.
All right, Anne?
Hi, I'm Anne Chaudhary, and I am the executive producer.
All right, and Isa?
Hi, my name is Isa, and I am one of the producers, one of the writers, and also an actor in the film.
Woohoo! All right.
Well, thank you so much, all of you, for being here, and congratulations on this amazing film. Iman, I'll start with you. How did you get around to the story?
Yeah, for sure. So when I was in New York City for my birthday in 2012, we passed by the famous Cherry Lane Theater and we saw the play Dirty Packy Lingerie, which is played by Isa Fatma, was written. And so my cousin was like, we got to go see this movie. And I'm like, okay, this play. So I was like, yeah, let's do it. So we go into the play in the theater and I see this woman transform herself to 6 different characters with a green scarf. And we laughed, we cried, we hooted, we hollered. It was just the most amazing thing that I had seen. And so afterwards I introduced myself to Isa and I was like, hey, what's going on? You want to make some movies? And she's like, yeah, let's do it. And so then we just started emailing back and forth and we had connections like, I love Bend It Like Beckham, Big Fat Greek Wedding is like one of my favorite movies. Like we had connected so much. And from September 2012, in January 2013 is when we started writing the film. And so that's how we kind of started it. And these characters, there are 3 characters from the actual play, which have transformed a lot over the years because that was 8 years ago. But we have kind of molded it to what's going on in our lives today and how relevant it is to be American Muslim women in these stories.
All right, Isa, how forceful was Iman when she walked up to you backstage?
If you know Iman, she was so sweet. She looked like she was 15. She was like in these tattered jeans. She was like, I don't know. She has a sense of, she's very well dressed today, but she was like, had this like ratty little skirt on. I thought she was like 15. Today. Right? And so I'm like, who's this little girl? And she's like, hey, do you want to make do you ever do like short films? Because Iman has, her shorts have won like Emmy Awards and is a Princess Grace Award recipient. But when I didn't know that, so I was like, girl, I make feature films. I was so cocky. So Iman gave me her little card. She was like, oh, maybe just just want to, talk sometime. And then it was amazing. Like the first time we ever talked, I think it was for like hours, and and all these years later, here we are.
I can guess why the South Asians and the Asians wanted to be a part of this film. I would like to hear from the people who are not from my part of the world and what drew them to the story. Jessie?
Yeah, so I kind of have an interesting way on the feature. I was one of Iman's students actually in college, and she really, really wanted me on the film. And I was like, okay, but I was young and very green. So she brought me on as an assist at first. And then the first editor she brought on didn't work out. And then she was kind of optioning other people that didn't click as well with her. And then I was on a PA job, like a post PA job at the time. And she was like, okay, well, if you quit your job and drive to Florida and work with me over the summer, the job is yours. And I was like, okay, I told my job, gotta go, bye. And then like my dad and I literally drove back to Florida from Los Angeles, and the rest is history. But I think, so that was kind of like my initial way I got on the film. Like it was just like my professor is doing something that's really awesome. But more importantly, like I think the work I really want to do is just women stories. And I think women, for women, by women. And that's what's so beautiful about Americanish. It's like every time I watch it, and I've seen it a gajillion times, I'm like, I just feel that it's so honest to who they are as women, what they want, when they want it. And that's just so important to the work that I want to continue doing. And, I'm just getting started, and that's really, really important to me. And I'm so blessed for this to be my first feature and just be so much about what I want to continue doing.
And I just want to say,
Oh yeah, sure.
Jessie is just like, she was literally the backbone of the film. Like she was basically me. I mean, for the past 3 years, she never wavered. And I was like, we're like dying and going back and forth, but she was always there 100%. And we've watched the movie maybe like 1,000 times. She goes, no way, man, we gotta watch it. Like we'll watch it for the first time. And we'll watch it together. And she goes, oh girl, she didn't do that. Did she do that? And I'm like, Jessie,
you have to watch it. Like, I mean, as an editor, you kind of have to learn to watch things over and over again. But I really try every time I watch it to be the first time I watch it, because you get something new every time, But yeah.
And that's a lot coming from someone who's probably had to watch it 100 times. So congratulations, Iman, once again. What about you, Chloe? Oh, you're muted.
I was brought on as a recommendation to Iman from a mutual friend, Julie. And when you're recommended to someone, you always kind of like want to consider it, maybe more so than other jobs, because like someone's decided already that you would be a good match. So I was really just like open-minded, and I think I got the script maybe first. I've got a terrible memory, but what I do remember was that I read the script and I was like intrigued by the American Muslim story, representing all these different women's web of stories together in New York City, like seemed magical to me. And then that was kind of like the deal was sealed when Iman spoke to me on the phone, because she's very persuasive. And, I wasn't seeing her physically, so I didn't think that she looked like she was 15. To me, she sounded like a well put together adult woman who wanted to make this film with me. And, I'm also coming at it as like, this would be my second feature film. And to shoot in New York City is like an absolute dream miracle, to be offered as your, second major feature film. And so not only was it the storytelling itself, but it was the connection with Iman, and it was the idea of a second feature for me. And working with a limited budget for a cinematographer is like challenging, and I like the challenge. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to find crew in New York City. I'm from Los Angeles. Iman's from Florida, so we have to start from nothing. And I was like kind of into it. And I mean, all those elements together was what did it.
Roy, what drew you to the story?
Well, I ended up getting involved with the project a little later in the game. I think it was their second piece of the shoot, which ended up being a total of maybe 6 or 7 times that we went back to the camera during post. But I'm a third culture kid. I grew up as a serial immigrant, as an outsider from every nationality that I have. And both of my parents are from two different countries. I grew up, like I said, in America. Maybe it's not even my final stop. But during the time that I got involved with Americanish, I was going through a breakup and I needed humor and love. And I saw that I could find that in Americanish behind the scenes first. And I had a great time on set. It was amazing. And of course, the mission is just an extension of everything I stand for in life. I grew up at home with a very strong mom who provided for the family. So that was just a part of who I saw as a woman in my life. And just this idea of bridging cultures is something that I've been doing in all my features that I've done in the past. And I'm just proud to be a co-conspirator and following in the steps of Isa and Iman, who are this inspiration for me, and I hope for others too. So,
Yes, they definitely are. Paul, what drew you to Americanish?
Well, basically, a man called me, and I had no choice. Like we went to film school together, and and basically she just said, "Paul, I need you," and I'm like, okay. but the other thing is I really was drawn to the fact that it was a broadish light comedy. Yeah. And what I really I'm a person, this is my hot take, but I'm a person who feels that culturally specific stories that are dramas are really great for understanding, to have cross-cultural understanding. If our goal or my goal is for acceptance and inclusion, I really feel that fun and laughter are things that really unite. That's what makes people really go, oh, I accept this, as opposed to I understand you, but I'm going to keep you different. And I really feel that Iman, I've seen her movies over the years, and I really see that her voice really kind of bridges that. And that's always been her mission statement, to basically unify. And I really thought for her first feature, this would be a great vehicle for that, and I had no choice but to help, and here I am.
And Godfrey, apart from learning how to make mango lassi, what drew you to this project?
I love mango lassi, by the way. Yeah, just like everybody else, I'm Nigerian American, so I know about the immigrant story. My parents coming from Nigeria to America, growing up in Chicago, growing up around the most integrated area in Chicago, because Chicago being the most segregated city in the country, I was around, all my friends were from everywhere, from Korea, from India, from Pakistan, from all over the place. And what I liked when I saw the script, I was like, oh, this is cool. It's a Pakistani American film. I was like, I want to be part of this. I just loved it. It was just something different, a different culture, and to be part of that is what I get excited about. I'm very excited. I don't like to go multiculturalism, but I like that. I like that they addressed the the word that we kept using, the collar word. I knew about that word, I knew about the word, but I'm glad that I was part of that, because those are little issues that we don't really address. But like you were saying, through comedy, which I'm a stand-up comedian for over 20 years. So it's comedy. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's fine.
Comedy does bridge the gap, especially talking about the ills of society and stuff like that. It bridges the gap, because when you get people laughing about everybody's problems, everybody comes to a, common ground, you know what I mean? So and the fact that the audition was fun, Iman made the audition fun, because some auditions are hell, you go, I don't think these people like me, but she made it very comfortable, and I had a lot of fun. And that was one of the main things. I just liked that it was different, and that, you know what I mean? I like that it was addressing those issues, so.
Well, you guys are making this.
And that wedding was dope. The clothing was amazing.
No, you guys are making this Q&A fun, so I can only imagine what it was like on the sets. I would like to talk to Selena, Anne, and Isa, and talk a little bit about how this film tries to show South Asian women differently, and especially South Asian Muslim women. And then Iman, maybe after they're done, you could chime in a little bit. Selena?
Hi. Huh. I mean, I'm sure we all have. I grew up in a time where I didn't see women like me represented on screen. And it caused a lot of almost, I don't know, personal issues, I want to say, because I don't know, I had low confidence because of it. I didn't think that women like us could be seen as, you know, beautiful, and we were stereotyped for so long, and we still are. So when you see a script like this and you watch a film like this and you see three intelligent, wonderful women that all have their own stories and idiosyncrasies, it's exciting, and it's how it should be. We're normal people. We don't have to be considered oppressed or any of that. And I think that's why I love this film so much. It's almost making me like emotional. I'm not really knowing how to like connect my words to kind of fully express how I feel and how much this movie means to me and how much I wish I had something like this.
Yeah.
And I have a 15-year-old sister, and I'm so happy that she can grow up in a time with films like this.
Yeah.
And, you know, and then we also have like Miss Marvel coming and shows like that. It's such an exciting time. And I no longer feel outcasted or different. And even in elementary school, I was called a terrorist as a kindergartner on the playground. So to have something like this, it means so much to me, because it would have meant so much to see this on screen when I was a little girl. And so I hope that, you know, people watching it can feel seen and heard and understood and not feel the way that I felt growing up. And so thank you, Iman and Isa and everyone here for letting me be a part of that, because it's big, it's huge. And I'm grateful. I'm not sure if I answered the question because I'm getting emotional.
No, and like, you know, and something I wanted to, you know, Aiza is here, Iman is here. Your character was so beautifully written. Like, you know, to have a character who was of faith and to have her as a smart person, like a wicked smart person, is something we don't see. Like, you know, it's either like there's this idea of quote unquote backwardness to the practicing of a religion, like, oh, if you believe in this, then you can't be this, and your character kind of like melds that so well. So I'm so glad that there are kids, you know, who look like us, who will watch this film and be like, hey, that's me.
And use their faith as their strength.
Yeah.
And it's really
and
great stuff.
Thank you so much, Selena.
Thank you so much for that, Selena. That really honestly made me very emotional. And, you know, everything Selena said is one of the reasons why I was really drawn to the film. I was born here, grew up here, and I also, like Selena, didn't see people like me. And I felt for a lot of the time through school, I just wanted to blend in, you know, not really stick out. You know, being brown wasn't beautiful, wasn't a wonderful thing to be proud of. And on top of that, being Muslim was, you didn't talk about being Muslim. You just, you know, you were whatever you were. And as someone who has a 10-year-old daughter, I'm so proud to be able to be a part of a film where she can see this and she can see, you know, women like her who she can look up to and see that, you know, wow, these women have done amazing things and I don't need to be ashamed of who I am. And she can be proud of that. So this is, you know, what really stood out to me about this film.
Aiza, thank you so much, Anne.
Yeah, thank you guys. Selena made me very emotional. And I just also want to say, and our EP who freaking carried this film and made it happen. You know, people might not know this, but yeah, we won't get into all the details. And also Miss Chloe Weaver, who freaking showed up every day when Iman and I were so checked. We were like, I can't do this anymore. On the set, it was so exhausting. Chloe was like, let's go, guys. We're gonna make this film. And she made the whole thing happen. I mean, these ladies like made things happen. And our producers and you know, Jesse. I mean, we couldn't, these guys freaking have brought this film to you. I think Iman and I like got exhausted like 8 years ago. We've been exhausted. So thank you to all of these beautiful souls who are here, and thank you for doing the work you've done. You know, it's so much of what Selena was saying resonated with me. And I think I didn't, sometimes like as a writer, for me, every writer is different. Sometimes I quite don't know what I'm writing until it's done. And I remember like writing this and then reading a draft of it. And I was at a party and I was talking to these women who all happen to be Muslim women. And they're like lawyers and VPs and all this stuff. And I was standing in a group and they're like, what are you doing? What are you working on? I was like, oh yeah, I'm fundraising for this film. And I was like, I guess it's important because, you know, I like never felt like I could be beautiful or like somebody would want me, or like the standard was like a white guy should want you, not a brown guy, you know, because that's the standard of beauty for us is like the whiteness, because that's all we see in rom-coms. We see the white girl blonde getting together with the white guy. And so, you know, and there were like, I was just saying all this stuff and then women started getting really teary-eyed. And I think that's when I kind of realized the importance of telling this story, letting these women be the heroes of their own journey. And for, you know, it's so important, I think, you know, with Maryam's character, like to show like, if you're 21, it's okay, dude. You don't have to like settle down and like get married. And that's not the only path, you know, you can like figure things out. And I think I grew up in a place where, well, first in the South, and then also a very isolated Muslim community where, you know, Southern, like if you're not married by the time, like I literally had like white girlfriends who went to college to find a guy, like they joined the right sorority so they could get the right, I mean, this is what happens in small towns in America, right? And these are just white people. And so then if you're Muslim, it's like a double whammy. It's like marriage, it's like being pushed at you from so many different directions. And I think it was just like, it's important to me to like show like, it's okay for us as women to become fully realized people before we head down that path, like figure out the things that you want in life, you know, before, you know, become a fully grown up person before you like take on another person and start to share your life with them. So I think those are a couple of things that I think are important.
Yeah, you know, I could go on and on because this is such a fun bunch of people to be with. But Iman, just to wrap things up and, you know, taking on what Isa just said, like, you know, growing up as South Asian Muslim women, oftentimes in not the big cities of America, things are so isolated. But your film kind of like brings it out. You talk without going into a classroom lecture about it. You talk about race, you talk about policing, and these are all themes that, I mean, of course, as South Asians, we are very intrinsically connected to within our American experience, but also things we often distance ourselves from. We often like, you know, there is and I'm so glad that you've implicated the community in it, that there is a very high underscoring of racism within our community. So, and you've dealt with it so subtly, but in ways it's so visible. So if you can just like, you know, tie all the loose ends together.
Thank you so much. And I thank you for everybody. Like I'm all like crying over here too, Selena. Like everything is it's all coming together and everybody on the team is just like so amazing. I just can't even 8 years. I mean, it's a marathon. Yeah, you know, it was a huge challenge because what you're saying is right. We are layering so much, right? We're layering, you know, feminism, and then working in the workplace, and then Muslim women, and then politics, and then racism. And I remember speaking to Isa a lot about this in the writing period, and like, you know, wondering if was it okay that we're doing this through comedy or not, and you know, are we being sensitive enough, or are we not being sensitive enough? And talking to Jesse about this in the cut as well, especially, you know, when Khala makes it, Khala was, Lilette was like, you know, maybe, man, I shouldn't say this. And I was like, no, Lilette, you need to say it like this because that's how it is. And we need to speak about it. And then we need to bring about it really hard. And another really big thing, because the racism was so big in in our culture is like, we need to address it straight on. And like everybody was mentioning before, film and media is the way that we learn and relate to, right? Shying away from things is never going to get us to understanding and to learn as a community together. So addressing it head on, even in a subtle comedic way, is going to bring in the understanding and be like, maybe that was wrong. Maybe this is wrong. Now I know, like, we're not going to change the world with this one movie, but it's a small step into what we're doing. And that's why I really love that Godfrey came on board, because he was all about this. And I remember when we were the scene, remember Godfrey in the scene when she goes, "But you're black," and
Right.
Godfrey is the one that was like, "I am," and I was like, so powerful, right? Because it's like, shit, we deal with this all the time, like,
yeah.
and that wasn't in the script, you know. He brought that to it, and he brought so much more. Also, it's like, we were Muslim before you guys, which is also a fact.
It's true, yeah. And there's more of us that are Muslim in Africa than anybody else.
Exactly.
Yeah. But media, like you said, when you're talking about media changes the narrative. And it's like, media, depending on how you use it, media, because I do a lot of comedy. I do comedy in Saudi, Kuwait, Dubai. And you go, in your head, you're thinking CNN's been telling you everybody's blowing each other up. And then you got guys, some comics going, I don't want to go over there. I go, what do you mean? Let's just go. Who cares? You know, we go and everybody has more money than you, speaks better languages than you. Everybody looks good. Everybody's like, yeah, man. I mean, it's like crime in America. It happens sometimes and it doesn't, you know, so it depends on how you use media, you know, and this kind of film, what I love about it is humanizing everybody. It just humanizes, even with your flaws. It's like, that's the way we solve things. It's like, if you're an alcoholic, you go to rehab and you got to be honest. Alcoholism, that's the ism that everyone takes care of, but the racism everyone wants to shy away from, right. You know? So you have to deal with it like you're an alcoholic. Hey, I'm a racist. Well, let's talk about it honestly. I'm not gonna change my ways. It's just honesty has to be the motto of I think, art now, because art is supposed to imitate life. You know, and you can't police, you know, don't say collar. No, say it, because it's been called, I've been called that in cabs, you know, just walking in a cab, just calling me that. I'm like, hey, you know, so that's why that it was so awesome and profound. And I'm glad I was able to do the little improv. Yeah. Well, what? I'm black. What the, you know, because, you know, black was always like, he's black, but oh my God. And you know what I mean? And then you think about anthropologically, everybody comes from Africa. And then you go, what? Wait a minute.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. The authenticity that was brought by each one of the characters, and particularly Godfrey in terms of the racism, was just it was so great into bringing the realness of what we're dealing with in life. And I'm glad we're having this conversation, because the point of this film is to have an impact, right? To have a social impact, to create change and to start a conversation. If we change one person's mind, we can change the world's mind. And so that's how I kind of feel about it.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I grew up in India, and our governments are fighting it out, people. But when I watched this film, I was crying with the Pakistani characters on screen. I mean, like, it's like, we're the same people, guys.
Yeah.
Stop this nonsense.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for sharing your film with us. Iman, how do we keep in touch with you, or, you know, those of us who loved your film, how do we keep a tab on how it's doing, which festival it's playing at? Are there any social media handles you'd like to share?
Yes, for sure. So on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, it's all at Americanish Film. My Twitter is and my Instagram and Facebook is also my full name, Iman Zawahry. And you can see what's going on through the film, and we're hoping for it to have a really long life. And please reach out, talk to us, let us know how the film connected with you, and please tell all your friends about it.
And you'll see all these people tagged in posts within Iman's posts or the film's social media handle. So yeah, give them a follow, talk to them, and have as much fun as I did having them over for this conversation. Thank you so much, guys. And thank you for being a part of CamFest 2021. And thank you for your film. Please enjoy the rest of the festival. Take care and stay safe. Thank you. I want to thank all my guests for your time today and for being a part of CamFest 2021 and sharing your film with us. Thank you again. Please enjoy the rest of the festival and take care.